Welcome to the Arcane recap. In a world divided by class and economic status, a devastating war leaves Vi and Powder orphans. They are taken in by Vanda, a resistance leader. Fast forward, Vanda is a bartender at the Lanes, still a big name. Vi, Powder, Milo and Clagger are all grown up. They rob a merchant in the topside, all Piltover, making a ruckus and blowing up the place. They escape the enforcers, but Powder manages to lose the loot after they run into some thieves. Milo is mad at Powder for always screwing up their operations, calling her Jinx because she jinxes them, but Vi backs her up. Captain of the enforcers Grayson tries to talk with Vanda to give her a name so she won't have to come back with an army of enforcers, giving him a communication device that can only reach her if he decides to change his mind. Discouraged from taking part in any other mission, Powder reluctantly shows Vi that she still has a few crystals. Deckard the thief failed his mission. He was meant to spy on them and not intervene. Realizing that Vanda's group caused the turmoil in the topside, Deckard is rewarded with a meal. The criminal mastermind with an orange glowing eye is named Silco. With him is a mad scientist that created a purple addictive substance called Shimmer. With unknown side effects, it enhances an animal's physical capabilities and alters its physiology. As scientist and innovator Jace Tallis and Caitlyn came back with their tools, Jace was locked out. Trying to kick down the door, the crystal explosion knocked him out. Unconscious, he is reminded of his past. Tracking through the harsh winter storm, Jace's mother fell over. Pleading for help, a mysterious being appeared. Using crystal and magic, said being teleports them through time to a safer place in Runeterra. Though not known, the mysterious man is said to be Rise. Back in the research room, the enforcers are removing Jace's items. They realize that he was storing illegal items, and as it wasn't approved by the Academy, assistant to the Dean of the Academy, Victor was sent to ensure anything dangerous would be removed with care, and as he was operating illegally, he will stand in front of the council. Dean and respected member of the council, Professor Heimerdinger questions why he would put so many people's lives in danger, more specifically, what he was secretly researching, trying to harness magic through science. Heimerdinger views this as trivial. At the youthful age of 307, he advised Jace to admit his mistakes to the council and never mention magic. Then he will get away with a slap on the wrist. On the trial for Jace's House of Tallis, the Kiramans or Caitlyn's mother supports Jace with talk of revolutionary science and cultivation of magic. Jace wanted to be able to harness arcane magic, believed to only be something a person was born with. Heimerdinger is opposed because this power corrupted people and destroyed civilizations. Piltover was built to evade warmongering mages, so with a heartfelt speech from his mother, they will expel Jace from the academy and allow him to remain in Piltover. Once a renowned prospect, Jace is shunned by society. Trying to visit the Kiramans, he is turned away. The council put pressure on Grayson to make an arrest, as the breaking in and robbery in broad daylight is sending shivers down people's spines, and their safety is #1 priority. Enforcers search the underground for the crystals. The group barely evade them once more, with the assist from Echo. In the Lanes, the people and Savika want to fight back from the tyranny, but Vanda is against it. Echo reveals to the group that Vanda has a deal with Grayson, but they don't know what it is. Sergeant Marcus receives information from Silco about where the 4 hoodlums are. Searching the place, the enforcers barely miss Powder. The people advised group aren't opposed to another rebellion. To break this thought pattern, Vanda takes Vi to the bridge. It reminds them of the day he led their people against the enforcers in their rebellion, and now he isn't willing to sacrifice their lives for a chance at a better one. Grayson receives the scroll, so the enforcers head over to apprehend the suspect. Before they can make it there, Vanda quickly locks Vi away. She tried to cover for them, ensuring he takes the fall for their actions. She cries as Vanda is taken away, but she spots something gruesome in the window. Days prior, Deckard was convinced to take the Shimmer. Now as a minion, he ravages through the enforcers, killing Grayson and Benzo, leaving Marcus alive because of their deal. They take Vanda away. Silco and Vanda used to be brothers, until he tried to kill Silco. He got the eye from an infestation of the corrupted waters. Unable to take over Piltover, Silco wants to use the Shimmer to make the Piltovians fear them, offering him a chance at redemption. Trying to rescue Vanda, Vi takes his gauntlet, making Powder promise to stay behind as it is too dangerous. Thinking about life, Jace runs into Victor again, who now reading through his diaries, is supportive of his thoughts and trials on harnessing magic, so much that he helps Jace sneak into the Donga's lab, finally able to stabilize the contraption and creating magic. They are abruptly stopped by the Donga, but Mel from the council wants to vote on if they should have Hextech in Piltover. The crew sneak in through an opening in the ceiling panel. With no guards in sight, they assume Vanda is free. However, As Silco waited for this, his entire army emerges. Vi has to hold them off as Milo slowly frees Vander from the constraints, and Clagger finds an escape route. Realizing she has the crystals that contain immense power, Powder sneaks into the location. Arming a toy with the crystal, she isn't ready for the lethal explosion, sending her off the building, but smiling knowing that she did something, igniting the building and of all, killing Clagger and Milo in the fallout. Without a way to survive, Vander consumes the shimmer, finishing off Deckard as he frees Vi from the burning building. He dies in her arms. Discovering that Powder was the cause of the explosion, she slaps her, calling her a jinx, and walking off as Powder cries out for her to come back. Behind the wall, Vi regrets her actions immediately, but she is drugged and arrested by Marcus. In the rubble, Silco takes in the crying Powder, promising that they will make them pay for betraying her. We jump roughly 6 years into the future. The technology has jumped millennia. The Hex Gates can transport people thousands of miles in seconds. Paraded all over Progress Day, he gears up to give his speech, as they have just created the Hextech Gemstone, a stable Hextech crystal that can be harnessed as energy for Hextech technology. Caitlin is now an enforcer. As an officer, she oversteps, investigating the crime scene and collecting evidence of a drug smuggle gone wrong. She finds a survivor, who Captain Marcus arrests. She is caught in an explosion that takes the lives of 6 enforcers. Also lost during this explosion was the Hextech Gemstone. The council is worried that this technology could do evil in the wrong hands, so they make Jace a council member for him to protect Hextech. Caitlin is fired from being an enforcer because her mother spoke to the sheriff. Refusing an office job from Jace, she looks into the underground crime and the smuggling of Shimmer. Trying to talk to the recent arrestee, he is currently away because his jaw was broken. So Caitlin speaks with the boxer that did it, Vi. After recognizing the graffiti as Powder, and that all the underworld crime is by Silco, using his money and power to bribe law enforcement, Caitlin uses Jace's status as a new council member to release Vi, in hopes of her finding incriminating evidence on Silco. Left to wonder, Vi speeds through Zorn's roofs, parkouring through the normal routes, making it down to the underworld. Luckily, she is gifted with new clothes, and now with the iconic look, they receive intel from Jericho. Vi is in it to find Powder and rekindle their relationship. She goes to an old friend of Vander and a brothel owner. The new underworld has changed. Silco has taken over the lanes. With all the money and muscle, no one dares to defy him. Leaving Caitlin behind to intermingle, she spots Savika, a trader. They get into a brawl when she discovers that Savika has a robotic arm that uses Shimmer as stims. Shimmer is now somewhat stable. Asking about Powder, she discerns that Powder is now named Jinx, the right hand to Silco, like his daughter. Almost dying in the fight, Caitlin saves her, allowing Savika to live. Now named Jinx, she took part in the Shimmer crime, and was the one that stole the Hextech Gemstone, trying to harness its power, but at the same time, still riddled with the trauma of guilt and betrayal from her past. Uptown, Jace and Mel form an alliance. They recruit other council members to invest in their future of Hextech, drawing them away from Heimerdinger, the old ways, and eventually, they unanimously retire Heimerdinger from the council. Their alliance runs so deep that they sleep together. Mel's mother, leader of Noxus, and Bessa, had come to Piltover to try and help in their political situation against the underworld. But this is an awkward scenario, because Ambessa disowned Mel for not committing to her Noxian ideals. The underlying reason is because she wants access to the Hextech items, a powerful tool in war. Partner Victor is in the lab trying to solve their Hex core problems. A new Hextech item, coughing up blood and fainting. Victor has been suffering from this illness that has affected his mobility and health from a young age. Jace discovers that he only has several months to live. Victor reaches out to an old friend, the mad scientist, or now believed to be called Singed, revealing that the Hex core isn't binding with the correct lifeform, leading Victor to use Shimmer with his blood to reinforce his own skin, allowing him to finally be able to walk and even run without a cane for the first time in his life. Tragically, during this modification, Sky thought he was in danger, and she lost her life to the Hex core. Stumbling to her old house in the pits, now overrun with Shimmer addicts, Caitlin trades her rifle for an antidote. Reminded of Powder's drawings, they run into Silco, trying to finish off Vi. They manage to tumble the rusty oil rig and escape, fleeing as they spot a flare in the distance. As Jace starts to crack down on corruption and the smuggling of Shimmer, they tighten security on the bridge. Manipulating Jinx, Silco tells her that Vi is there for the Hextech Gemstone, and she is with an enforcer. Jinx had lit the flare, and Vi remembers this from their childhood, promising that she would be there for her. The sisters reconnect through their shared trauma. Still weary, part of her believes that Vi is only there for the Hextech Gemstone. In the midst of this, Firelights appear, a rebellious force against Piltover and Silco's criminal enterprise. Fighting with Jinx and Vi, they steal the gemstone, Caitlin and Vi. Back at Firelight HQ, Vi is dragged away, unveiling the leader. He is Little Man or Echo. He was confused if Vi was working with Silco because he knows that Jinx is willfully doing so. Vouching for Caitlyn, Echo agrees to free her. She manages to convince Echo to hand over the gemstone, as it would potentially build a good relationship between the Firelights and Piltover. As they go across the bridge, corrupt Marcus stops them. He begins shooting at them. Firelight insects appear and they begin exploding. Jinx's toys come to light. As she retrieves the gemstone, Echo steals back the gemstone with his Z drive and fights off Jinx, as Vi carries away the injured Caitlyn into Piltover. Their fight ends in a massive explosion. Realizing the gemstone case was empty, Vi reluctantly gets Caitlyn home without evidence for the council. Pulling strings, Mrs. Kiriman agrees to give them an audience of the council. At this meeting, they bring up the problems of the Undercity. Jace is the only councilman that cares about stopping Silco. Seeing this lead nowhere, Vi turns away, and knowing that they can never be more than friends, she leaves Caitlyn. Making contact with Jace, they decide to stop Silco. Armed with the Atlas Gauntlet and the power of Hextech, they will start by running Silco's Shimmer dry, so they hit a Shimmer factory. Once Shimmer monster guards are released, Vi is forced to unleash her true powers, and Jace uses his melee and ranged forms. Accidentally hitting a kid in the crossfire, he experiences the guilt and pain of war immediately. Deciding to end this battle against the underworld early, on the bridge, Silco found the remains of Jinx. Rushed to Singed, he saves Jinx by using Shimmer. He is also rumoured to have saved Warwick. In retirement, Heimerdinger struggles to help the Undercity. Stumbling onto a Z drive, he meets Echo, complimenting his engineering of the hoverboard. After the incident on the bridge, he helps Echo back to the Firelight's hideout, where together they will try to save the Undercity. Jace is taken back by the devastation and decides to negotiate with terrorists, or Silco. He will make the underworld anew and independent, named the nation of Zorn, if he hands over Jinx, as someone needs to pay for the deaths of the enforcers on the bridge. Storming the lanes, Vi gets into round 2 with Savika. Ripping her robotic arm off, tired, Shimmer Jinx knocks her out. Naked and thinking of Vi, Jinx also takes Caitlyn. In her playhouse is Vi, Silco and Caitlyn, who Jinx believes Vi is using to replace her, pleading for Vi to kill Caitlyn so they can go back to normal. Jinx knocks out Caitlyn. In emotional turmoil, Jinx fires and kills Silco because he lied to her about Vi coming back. Promising that he loves her, Silco dies, acknowledging that she can never be Powder again. Jinx takes the Hextech gemstone and places it into her weapon, firing it at the Piltover Council room. In this room, Jace is telling the council that they are going to give Zorn their independence. This is when the super mega death rocket hits the building. This is where the season ends. Make sure to subscribe, and for more, watch this.